Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today we have a story of a man who caught his fiancée emotionally cheating twice, tried to forgive, but found more lies, so he ended it for good. Hey all, edit, we have been together for 3 years. My fiancée didn't physically cheat on me, but she became emotionally invested with a guy she used to have feelings for. In November, I discovered that she was sending him selfies of her outfits for work, photos of what we were doing, such as carving pumpkins for Halloween, and texting non-stop throughout the workday, mainly about pointless stuff. One night she asked if we could watch a show on Netflix, which I later found out he was mentioning in their conversation. The last message he sent revealed how he felt for me fiancé, and said it's in your court now. My fiancé responded with something like, "Oh wow, that's a lot to take in. I need to figure out what I'm doing here, but until then we shouldn't talk." She then took a screenshot of the convo and sent it to her best friend, who said, "Well, what are you going to do?" This is not the first time she messaged this guy. Last year she was catching up with him too. She told him she liked him, but is with me and thought her feelings were wrong. I found out about the texts. She turned off notifications for his messages on iMessage and Facebook. I confronted her. She said she knew it would hurt me, but she did it anyways. I asked for the ring back, went to my parents for a week. After talking to friends, who told me to end it since this wasn't the first time, I said I have to give it one final chance and see what she does, and we have been trying to work through things since. I am seeing a counselor and so is she. We want to do couples therapy, but want to figure out what we want first. We talked about again last night and she said she never flirted with him, yet she admitted she may have a little bit when I found out. I feel like I'm running in circles with her. I'm stress eating, grinding my teeth and struggling to forgive. This wasn't the first time with the guy and she said it wouldn't happen again last time. I am scared for our future and she's always saying she loves me. I feel like it's because she got caught though and almost lost me. Any advice is welcome. I am scared this would have led to physical cheating at some point. TLDR, fiancé was catching up with a friend. They texted all week and she hid the convos. He confessed he wanted a relationship and she has to think things through. Update, I was able to discuss this with a friend in person. Him and I chatted about it all and he said the same thing as Reddit. My fiancé has tried to be open with me, answer all my questions, etc. I didn't want to rush to a decision. This morning I decided to scroll through her messages one more time. She talked to a friend of hers about how she couldn't stop thinking about the other guy. She also had another text exchange with the other guy that I was not aware of from a while ago saying we can't talk, it damages my relationship. Then continued talking to him. I also found a string of messages saying she was considering breaking up with me, saying I'm OP is not good enough and OP is not religious enough. I talked to her about breaking up the other day and she brought up all the good memories, etc. She knows where I'm leaning and is trying everything for me to stay since I'm her financial support. Well, no more thinking needs to be done. This is a crappy situation, but I will come out on top. Started to box up my things as I will be going to my parents and saving money to start again. I knew this was gonna be the outcome, but my additional info concluded it. Maybe I am a naive young guy. I just wanted all the information before I decided. And according to her friends, I'm a borderline narcissist because of my lack of religious beliefs. Rolls eyes. Regardless, I figured out our future and that is not together. To my future ex, enjoy the guy who isn't half the man as me. Cheers to me finding someone who is worth my time, energy and love. Thanks for the input all. Update, edit, I can no longer comment on the post. To many replies I guess. I have read everyone's comments thus far. Thank you all for the words of encouragement and support. To those that reached out in the DMs, thank you as well. Thank you all for the advice. I know many of you said I would not take it, but I did. Yesterday I went on my ex's computer and found a conversation from a year ago with her friend that I did not know about. Talking about dreams, weird flirty banter and discussions about pop culture that I thought I got her into. Hindsight, it all lines up. She knew I'm 2019, that there was something there and was not sure how she felt then. We were still dating at that point and not engaged. I also found out she was wanting to break up with me 4 weeks ago. She also broke my boundary of social distancing and saw a friend who has been in contact with someone with COVID. Opinions aside, she never told me and my family had a few high-risk people. We talked last night. I told her about my new findings and said it's over. She needs to explore her feelings for the other guy, who looks half as good as me and is nowhere near financially stable. She agreed and I got the ring back. After lots of tears, I started to discuss the lease and finances. She's crapping bricks since 80% of our things are mine or my family's. She had been using my car and relied on me to get our apartment. Even with a roommate, she will struggle. I wish nothing bad to happen to her, but she should have thought about all that before questioning our relationship. I have to quarantine until I can move back to my parents for now. It's a weird limbo. It sucks, but I see the light at the end. I'm sad about the good memories, but know if this didn't happen, she's explore feelings with other guys if we did get married. Have a great boss who told me to take the next few days off and great friends who have been talking me through this. I'm thankful for COVID, as it caused a delay in our wedding which would have been 1 week before D-Day. Thank you for the support, Reddit. We all know we deserve better, and I know there's someone out there who will love me unconditionally. Now time to heal. Peace and love. Some relevant comments. The important thing here is you realize you deserve better than this. Now, what are you going to do about it? You know her relations with this man is terrifically unstable and she can't really make it financially without you. Are you going to fold and support her? You know he's probably going to pound it out for a few weeks, lead her on, then dump her. Do you plan on taking her back in a few months when she's pathetic and crying at your door? Another thing, do you think she's gonna learn anything of any substance from this experience, or just compartmentalize this whole thing or act like it never happened? Will she claim responsibility? Loaded questions with uncertain answers. Financially, I will be breaking the lease and doing what I have to legally do to separate ties. Everything else is in my name. My bank accounts are secured and she will not get $1 from me. The guy's across the country, so if she flies out, great. If she goes to Pound Town, great. But she isn't allowed to come back to me. I'll turn that down quicker than Kim Jong-un can launch a nuke. I think she's learned already, but it is surface level. She'll learn what she really effed up on in about 2 or 3 weeks when she's struggling to make it. Edit, and when it gets hard I won't take her back. Lol. Update. Been a while since my last post. Wanted to drop an update to show it gets better. Our apartment lease ended last month. We were able to break the lease with little to no penalty. It was a huge breath of fresh air once that was all settled. She took most of our things and left a little bit of a mess, but hey, it all worked out. We have been 90% no contact since, only taking about lease updates and arranging pickups for personal belongs. This was the best way to go. It got difficult at times, but it has allowed me to focus on growing myself more. I'm really excited to start this new chapter. My family celebrated with some A5 Wagyu steak from Japan. My savings have already increased tremendously, and I only took a $3,000 or so hit on the wedding. Engagement stuff. A small price to pay in the scheme of life, lot cheaper than a divorce. I'm working out again, getting back into old hobbies, enjoying time with family, and hope to get back into meeting people once COVID dissipates. Better year, got news of a new promotion at work. Once you get out of the fog, it's amazing how things can turn around. If you're young and not married, I cannot stress this enough, move on. It has been so much better in 2 months by ending things than the 2 months of trying to fix things. Thanks for all the support in this thread. My heart goes out to all of you who are struggling through infidelity. I hope my story can show you the hope you need, and always feel free to reach out. Cheers. Also, side note, how long did those who started dating take to make that jump? I know it differs person to person, but I'm curious to hear about your timelines. I for one think 6 months after D-Day in my circumstance is sufficient. I'm feeling confident about things, but want to focus on myself for a while longer. Edit. Someone asked about the car situation. Right before we broke up, she was driving my car. She got in an accident, no one was hurt. The insurance company gave me a nice check for the total loss, she wasn't at fault. So I went and bought the car we had been looking at getting after our wedding. She was not happy when she found out. Some of y'all wanted the original posts. Some comments. OP, you made a great decision, my friend. Do you have any updates? Hey, nothing really in updates. Haven't talked to the ex. She had a box of stuff I found and she sent a friend to pick it up. That's really the last time we texted. Treading lightly into the future. Few career moves that'd be huge in the works. Also got reconnected with someone who I hadn't talked to in 5 years. Enjoying that, but not rushing into anything. Just letting things unravel. Didn't expect anything to come from it, but communication's been great. And at its lowest level, it gave me a new perspective on no doom and gloom with future interests. So life's been great. Realized that this was the kick in the sass I needed. In hindsight, I realized separation was the best move even prior to this stunt. Counting my blessings for not being married. Update. Hey everyone. It's officially been over a year since D-Day. I cannot thank this community enough, as I would not have gotten to where I am without you all. I want to use this post as a way to show you all things can get better if you desire. I have not talked to my ex since our lease ended. The distance was the best thing I could have done. It helped me get over things quickly. I highly recommend doing this. Stand your ground. If you are getting walked on, have a backbone. I finally did, and it felt amazing. After your breakup, take chances. Within 3 months I had a new job that I would have been unmotivated to take if I was in my past relationship. I reconnected with friends, hung out with family, and started new hobbies like hiking. Make new personal goals. You're no longer part of a team, so you now need to make goals for your future. For me, that was financial and career. I'm happy to say I have exceeded these expectations and will continue to do so in 2022. Lastly, take time to heal. I used a therapist to help, which was amazing. I recovered and eventually felt ready to dip my toes in the water of dating again. I've since found a wonderful girl, who I would never appreciate it as much as she deserves without my past history. We are all on this journey together, but I want to say in most cases it will get better. Much love to this support group. You all are amazing people. I hope we can all leave this thread someday, heal and find the love we deserve. I believe cause I can see our future days. Story 2. Sorry, this is long, but there is a lot of information. My wife and I have been each other's closest, and often, only friend for the longest time. Both of us are very shy and have a hard time making friends. Recently, she made a friend at her job, who is a guy. She's had guy work friends before and it never really bothered me. But this one is different. First, she started texting him a lot, out of nowhere, and I didn't know about it until I discovered she went over our texting limit, which she never ever got close to before. She hid it from me for fear of me getting jealous. She is adamant about him just being a friend, and one that she needs. She goes to lunch with him and goes to get coffee. Once a week or so, they talk on the phone for a couple hours. They've also been sending pictures of themselves to each other, not racy ones or anything, just normal stuff. They often text each other all day long, literally, even to the point that they have to say goodnight to each other. Now, for the most part, she has been open about it all. Every now and then, I'll discover something she didn't tell me or catch her in a small lie that she said she was doing to protect my feelings. But still, for the most part, she isn't hiding it. I'm fairly positive they aren't spending more time together than I think because there isn't any missing time in her schedule that I've seen. No time unexplained. But I still feel like she is having an emotional affair. I've told her, in no uncertain terms, that this makes me uncomfortable, that I really don't like her having this level of friendship with another man. But I also know that it's wrong for me to tell her she can't have this friendship. The problem is, he is also married, and their marriage is going through tough times. And his wife has told him not to text my wife anymore. So, they've started texting through hanging with friends, so she won't know, which I think is disrespectful and wrong. People at her work have been speculating that they are having an affair, to the point it spread to the whole store. I've asked my wife, in one of the many discussions we've had about this, if she would tell her mom what she was doing. She said no. I asked if she thought what she was doing against my wishes and his wife's wishes was okay. She said no, but this is not enough to get her to stop. I'm not even asking her to drop him as a friend, just to treat him like a normal friend from work. No platonic dates or long chats or all-day text marathons. She has even told me that if the situation was reversed, she would hate it if I had a girlfriend like this. But still, this is not enough for her to stop. I cannot talk to anyone about it, because every friend or family member of mine is also close with her, and I wouldn't want anyone thinking less of her or knowing we're having this issue. So, I have to suffer in silence. I don't know what I should do. I'm trying to respect her and not be overbearing. But this whole thing just feels like it has gone way too far, and I feel I am justified in hating this. It feels good just to write this all out. Sorry I rambled and jumped around a bit. Just so much information. Anyway, what do you think? Am I just being too sensitive, paranoid? Or am I right in being upset? TLDR, my wife has a guy friend that she spends way too much time with and energy on, to the point that everyone at their work think they are having an affair. I've been clear that I am uncomfortable with this, but don't want to be controlling, so I let my feelings be known, but stop short of putting my foot down. My wife hasn't backed off even a little bit, but she has been mostly open about everything, not really hiding it from me. Should I be worried? And if so, what should I do? I will not be leaving her and she knows that, so that threat is not an option. Update 1/1/25 2:22 p.m. MST. Thank you all so much for your comments and advice. It has all been very eye-opening and helpful. I realize now that I am in denial and that, whether she realizes it or not, this is a problem that needs fixing. I left her a letter at home explaining my feelings and packed a small bag. I'm spending the night in the hotel and have asked to meet with her tomorrow to talk this thing out. I don't know if this is the right step to take first, but I feel like I need to wake her up to the fact that I am not going to be okay with this. I'm sure she'll try and find me tonight. Don't know if I'll answer when she does. Not sure what is going to happen. But whatever is going to happen, it happens now. I'll post a proper update soon. Also, sorry for the confusion about the gender thing. I didn't even realize I listed myself as a female until someone directly asked me if I was a lesbian. That explains a few other slightly puzzling responses too. Haha, but yeah, I'm a guy. Update. Thank you all so much for your comments and advice. It has all been very eye-opening and helpful. I came to realize I was in denial and that, whether my wife realized it or not, this was a problem that needed fixing. As I posted already yesterday, I left her a letter at home explaining my feelings and packed a small bag. I went to spend the night in the hotel and asked to meet with her tonight to talk this thing out. In the letter, I posted about a dozen of the comments from your folks, just so she could see what other people think of our situation. I also included what I posted, so she would know I didn't exaggerate. Don't worry, I didn't include your handles, so she won't be coming after you. When she got home and read the note, she called me. I didn't answer, but in her voicemail, in which she was bawling, which is very uncharacteristic of her, she begged me to come home and talk. She said in the message that yesterday she was at lunch with the other guy and they both had already decided to end the friendship, because they both realized they were developing feelings for each other. After a while, I decided to go home and talk with her. We had quite a long conversation. She told me that the other day, he admitted to having feelings for her, but promised not to push. She told me that the day before yesterday, she realized she was developing feelings for him too, and it scared her. She said she really thought they were just friends, that she was refusing to believe it was becoming anything more, and then it just happened. She told me that they didn't do anything physical yet, that it hadn't gotten that far, which is why they decided to end the friendship, because neither wanted to cross a line they can't uncross. I'm choosing to believe her in that. She told me that even though she was already backing out of the friendship with him, that the letter I left really opened her eyes at what she was doing to me and to us. It destroyed me to see her so broken and ashamed. I've never seen her like this before. We both cried for a long time. I said everything I had to say and asked the questions I needed to know the answers to. I believe she was honest with me, finally, about everything, including some things that were hard to hear. This went on for a couple hours. Instead of staying at the hotel by myself, I invited her to come with me. We went out to dinner, went to the hot tub at the hotel, and then had a wonderful night together. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but this isn't the end of it. We've got a lot of stuff to work through. We're talking about some counseling and it'll take me a while to fully trust her again. I'm not just letting it slide like nothing happened, but I'm also not giving up on my marriage. I will not. I never will. Some of you may think that makes me a chump, but I don't care. This is the woman I pledged to spend the rest of my life with, and as long as I have a say in the matter, I don't intend on breaking that promise. For better or for worse, right. Today, I also sent a text message to the other guy, telling him that my wife told me what was going on and that I wanted to make it clear that if I ever see even just a single non-work related text from him on her phone again, that we will be having a different discussion and in person. My wife and I have a long road ahead of us, but I'm positive we are both committed to getting things fixed between us and moving forward. I really wanted to thank all of you, at least those of you who offered real advice, for yesterday. I needed to be woken up and I think it happened just in the nick of time. I feel like this dark cloud is finally starting to break up. TLDR, I left my wife a letter expressing all my feelings and fears and left for the night. She called and begged me to come home. We talked for several painful hours, as she explained that, while nothing physical happened between her and her male friend, they both admitted that they were developing feelings for each other and decided it would be best to part ways. My wife and I are going to work on our relationship and move on from this. It's going to take some time for me to trust her again, but I'm not giving her up without a fight. Thank you, Reddit, for giving me the courage to stand up for myself. It may have just saved our marriage. Second update, 1/27th. Hello again, everyone. Thank you all, most of you, anyway, for your wonderful messages of encouragement. My wife and I have been having a lot of deep, emotional discussions over these last couple days. Having been with her for 12 years, I can honestly say that I've noticed a big change in her during these past couple months. But these past few days, she's finally back to her old self again. I can tell that she's sincere. Found out that the other guy and his wife and moving away soon, which makes me happy. My wife has felt so terrible. She is committing to being transparent, allowing me to be as nosy as I need to be, and to check up on her as much as I need to until I feel comfortable again. We are going to be starting up some counseling with our pastor soon, which I think is going to be a great help. It still hurts that it even got as far as it did. I've been cycling through anger, hurting, disappointment, and hope. I'm sure it will take a long while before those bad feelings go away, but we're going to be okay. I'm sure of it. Story 3. Throwaway account. Tried to post a picture of the receipt but couldn't figure out how. Whatevs. After spending Thanksgiving alone for the first time in 14 years, D-Day was this past May, I decided to stay with my parents for Christmas. On the dresser of the room where I stayed I found this donation receipt from Goodwill. I need to tell someone what it means to me. We got married in 2015 after dating for 9 years. We wanted our special day to reflect who we were, something unique. We ended up hosting an outdoor wedding on my brother's wife's farm in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. It's a physically beautiful place that held a special place in our hearts. We used to travel there with friends every summer over July 4th, listen to baseball on the radio, swim, visit with my brother's wife's parents and elderly grandparents, and generally take a pause to feel at peace. It was a very handmade wedding. We hand-painted all these shabby chic signs out of barn wood and old windows. We used these to point the way to the restroom, and to label our and our dog's signature drinks. Mine was Kentucky bourbon, my pups were root beer and lemonade, respectively. We wrote our own vows and a mutual friend officiated. We walked down the aisle with our dogs. My brothers and my dad provided music for the ceremony. Long, Long, Long by the Beatles. After the ceremony, we buzzed around the tent where our friends and family noshed on pasties and barbecued pork. We were so busy visiting with our guests, neither of us got a chance to eat. I gave my speech with my arm around my father-in-law. I talked about how in the old days a marriage was a celebration not just of the joining of two people, but the joining of two families. I talked about how happy I was that my family had just doubled in size. It's kind of a nonsense cliche that your wedding is the happiest day of your life. In that moment, for me, I think it was. After dinner we moved to the ramshackle dance floor we'd assembled in an outdoor tent. No DJ, just a Spotify playlist we'd spent weeks putting together, making sure to include all our individual favorite songs, as well as those that had specific meaning to us as a couple. The dance began with Closer by Tegan and Sarah. We danced until we collapsed, no exaggeration, to the final song, Dimed Out by Titus and Andronicus. The next day, it dawned on us that we hadn't made a plan to clean up. We were supposed to leave on our honeymoon, driving around Lake Superior in the RV we'd rented for the occasion. Instead, we ended up washing dishes. But it was fine. My parents stayed to help. They packed up all of the keepsakes, our hand-painted signs, and brought them home for safekeeping in their basement. It was understood that these artifacts were treasures. Fast forward to this year, I tell my parents that she had an affair with a coworker and then started a new relationship with a different guy while she was begging me to reconcile. My mom was pissed. She said all the wedding stuff was going to Goodwill. It didn't really hit me till I saw that donation receipt sitting on the dresser. It's all gone. All that time, love, the warm feelings, my newly enlarged family, the memories that were supposed to be treasures for the rest of our lives. It was all just an enclosed trailer load, like the receipt says. All those treasures are now sitting in a Goodwill to be squinted at by people who will never know what those things once meant. All that's left is a little slip of paper sitting on a dresser in the house where I grew up. Edit. Just want to say thanks for listening and for your kind words of support. This community has been there for me on many lonely days and nights. We didn't choose this journey, but it's ours now. Thanks for lending me your strength. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you really like our videos, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day.